on down, everybody.
I think they're supposed to stand up here. Do a 1.5 hour. Doing us up here. Who do you want here?
I want Newt and right here, and you and Crosse.
Stand behind you?
Right here.
Okay. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I want to thank you all for coming out here today. We've just had an extremely successful breakfast, and I'm absolutely honored that my friend, the Speaker of the House, is here, along with his lovely wife, Callista, who grew up in Whitehall, Wisconsin, and she's also accompanied by her wonderful mother, and I'm accompanied by my wife, Sue Ann, and several other individuals, candidate for the state senate, candidate for Congress, wonderful district attorney who has just been awarded the best honor as the best prosecutor in the state, and I appreciate that, and a bunch of other friends who are behind me. This election is going to be very close. We got 7 days now before the election. I feel very good about it. I just feel the momentum is certainly coming my way, and feel very good about it. The election is going to be close, so every vote is going to be extremely important. And the truth of the matter is, you know, we have not had a primary election in August ever before. It's always was in September. So this is the first time we're having an election, a primary election in August. And as a result of that, people are somewhat confused about the election and when it's going to take place. It's August 14th, a week from today. The issues are very simple. Who's the best person to represent the state of Wisconsin in the United States Senate? Who has the experience? Who's lived here his whole life and has worked here for the people of the state of Wisconsin? That's me. Who understands health care, and absolutely after we repeal Obamacare, who is the one individual that can actually sit in the room and write a bill to replace Obamacare that's going to work and is affordable and accessible? That is myself, Tommy Thompson. I'm also the individual that has worked here in La Crosse amongst you, amongst the people here, having the opportunity to be president and then chairman of LHI, which is right behind us. And we were able to grow that company in the last 6 years to a very dynamic company. And I also believe that getting the finances under control, I'm running because of all the children and grandchildren in Wisconsin and across America that sincerely believe that they should be able to inherit a country not overloaded with debt, but one that has opportunity and freedom and the chance to do whatever they want to do. We cannot say that's possible anymore with the debt load that we're foisting upon them. I want to challenge that. I want to change that. I want to get a balanced budget. I want to change the health care for the better, and I want us to become energy independent. I don't think there's anybody more qualified, having been governor, secretary of Health and Human Services, both state experience, federal experience, also in the free enterprise market, being here associated with LHI. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions, but before you ask questions of me, I would like to introduce my friend and an individual who I think really epitomizes the intellectual thinking of America in regards to what is the best for America. Newt Gingrich did an outstanding job as Speaker. His contract for America still stands out there as one example of what we should be standing behind as citizens and as Republicans in order to change the direction of this country. So it's with a great deal of pride and a privilege of mine to introduce Speaker Gingrich to address you, and then both Newt and myself will be more than happy to take any questions you might have. Speaker Gingrich.
Thank you, Tommy. Let me just say first that Callista and I are delighted to be here. As many of you know, Callista comes from Whitehall. Her mother, Bernita Bisick, is with us today, and we're glad to be here to endorse Tommy. I feel very strongly about this particular election because as Speaker I worked with Governor Thompson. Without him we would not have had welfare reform. It was the most successful conservative social reform of our lifetime. 70% of the people on welfare either went to work or went to school. It grew directly out of the pioneering work that he had done here in Wisconsin and the dramatic results he had achieved here. In addition, I worked with him to help launch a school choice movement which literally grew out of his collaboration with Democrats in Milwaukee and gave people an opportunity to choose a school for their child if the school they were in was trapping them and failing to teach them. So on two major fronts, welfare reform and education reform, I saw Governor Thompson make a huge difference. I also saw him take over a state which had been burdened by high taxes, big regulations, bad government, killing jobs, and turn it around so it became a major job-creating state. And I think as you look at the American economy, we need that kind of leadership. Finally, I wanted to come out and speak for Governor Thompson because I believe we need a senator who actually knows what they're doing. The Senate is a very hard institution today. It's been very difficult for either party to get it to work. We need people who have knowledge, who have experience, and who have the skills of getting things done. Governor Thompson did a tremendous job at that. As Secretary of Health and Human Services, he did a tremendous job of that. And I believe that he could reach across the aisle and actually help make the Senate effective in a way that nobody else in this race could. So I think this is a very important primary next week, and I'm hoping that the people of Wisconsin will decide to pick somebody who has actually been their leader, represented them, lived here in the state, understands the problems, and has proven that he can work in a bipartisan way to get very big things accomplished. And I'm delighted with Tommy to take your questions. Yeah, I think if you look at how destructive Senator Reid is being right now, it's a sign that it's going to be very hard to get anything done in the next administration if Senator Reid is still the majority leader. So I think it's very important to pick up enough seats. I think we're going to win a Democratic seat in North Dakota. We're going to win another Democratic seat in Nebraska. We have a pretty good chance of winning one in Montana and in Florida. And I think this would be a very key part of that. It's not enough just to elect a new president. You have to have a Senate that new president can work with. This Senate seat's a very important part of that equation.
Speaker, you called on Mitt Romney to release his tax returns. Would you make the same demands of the candidates in this race?
No, look, I'm not in the middle of this race in terms of those kind of issues, and so I don't know what that refers to.
Who? Yes. Yeah. I think the voters want somebody that can represent them to the best, and I think there's no question I am the best candidate to represent the interests of the state of Wisconsin. I'm the only candidate that has asked for a 18% ceiling on expenditures and revenue. No Democrat or Republican has ever asked that. That's the most conservative plank out there, a cap at 18% spending and revenue. And I think if you want a conservative, I'm the conservative. With Newt Gingrich and myself, we started welfare reform. The only entitlement program that we've ever gotten rid of was my idea, and helped by Speaker Gingrich. We got rid of an entitlement program. No other conservatives ever done that. I would dare to say that what we started here in Wisconsin was the start of the conservative movement across the United States with other governors. And I balanced the budget 14 years. I cut taxes 91 times. No other candidate, Democrat or Republican, has ever done that. 91 times, saving the people of the state of Wisconsin $16 billion. It cut the income taxes 3 times, eliminated inheritance taxes, eliminated the gift taxes, gave the people of the state of Wisconsin not one, but 2 of the largest property tax reliefs they've ever received. That is a conservative mission. It was a conservative accomplishment. And I would dare to say that the people of the state of Wisconsin will support me because they know what I did for the state of Wisconsin, the same thing I can do for the United States of America.
Governor Thompson, with the plan to replace Obamacare, do you know if your plan will be warmly received?
I am absolutely certain my plan is going to be warmly received because I've worked on it with a lot of Republicans in the United States Senate. I've worked on it with Newt Gingrich. I've got ideas from Speaker Gingrich. I've got ideas from when I was Secretary of Health. I don't think there's any question. If you would ask the other candidates who has the depth and breadth of knowledge of healthcare, it's myself. And healthcare is going to be a huge issue. Just take a look at what's going to take place the first month in Congress. First off, all Bush's tax cuts are going to come into play. Second, the sequestration, which is also going to deal with Medicare. The third one is the doctor fix. And I would dare to say, I doubt very much if many of my Republican opponents even know what the doctor fix is all about. And then on fourth, you have Obamacare that's got to be first repealed, but then it's got to be replaced. My ideas of a more market-based system, one that's based on wellness and prevention, one that deals with chronic illnesses, one that does something with liability and lawsuits, one that personalizes a person's medical record, doctor choice, and hospital choice to the individual. These are ideas that are based really in the foundation of the Republicans in the United States Senate and the thinkers around America. So I'm absolutely certain my ideas are going to be well received. And if you really want to understand healthcare, take a look at my webpage and you will see my idea and my plan for healthcare. No other candidate has any plan whatsoever. I all argue about repealing Obamacare, but nobody's got a plan to replace it. I want to repeal it, but I got a plan to replace it.
Mr. Gingrich, going back to Mark Newman, you were saying that when he was a member of Congress, he was kicked out of the Appropriations Committee while you were Speaker for voting against the bill that had a lot of fraud and stipend. Can you, I guess, confirm the veracity of that claim?
No, I can't. It doesn't ring any bells at all.
Mr. Thompson, you're neck and neck kind of with your opponent right
Yes.
now. Can you maybe comment a little bit about that and maybe that they're outspending you right now?
I'm being outspent about 8 to 1, 7 or 8 to 1 by 6 to 1 alone by Mr. Hubdy. But people know me. I'm 88% of the people in the state of Wisconsin know me. I'm the only candidate, and I think this is true, of any place in the United States, Democrat or Republican, that can run statewide and just use my first name, Tommy. And people know who that is. Just by all I ever use is just my first name. It's an amazing thing. It's a popularity and a friendship that I have with the people of the state of Wisconsin that go back to many years. And I've earned that trust, I've earned their respect, and that's why I think on election day they're going to come out, and I believe very confidently that we're going to win this primary. And I think even though one of the individual opponents is trying to buy this election, has not lived in Wisconsin 24 years, has not voted in Wisconsin in 24 years, comes in and registered to vote in February, is going to spend $6 million to try and buy this race. I don't think the Wisconsin people are going to accept that.
Speaker, even with your name recognition, the primary turnout tends to be pretty low. Are you concerned at all that maybe the supporters from one of those other candidates are going to turn out in full and turnout's going to be low, and we're going to see something like we saw in Texas last week?
I think right now I feel very comfortable. I think the people are starting to come back to me. They trust me and they know me. But you got to realize people are tired out of elections. After June 5th, everybody was on a high. And everybody got out and voted, and then after June 5th, everybody says, I want to take the summer off. I'm tired of campaigning, I'm tired of giving, I'm tired of volunteering, I'm tired of watching commercials on television. I want to go and enjoy this beautiful Wisconsin summer, and that's what's taking place. Now, people are starting to focus on this race. It's only 7 days left. I think it's going to be a small voter turnout, and that's why every vote is important. And that's why this morning we stressed the fact that people need to go to the polls and vote. And if you're from any part of the state, people know me, and that's a plus that I have. So people that are just checking in now, they know Tommy Thompson. I think that's going to inure to my benefit.
Well, I came out here very specifically because of the historic importance of Governor Thompson. Because I was there and I helped pass welfare reform, I helped launch school choice, I helped develop a set of ideas that came straight out of his governorship. And so I felt a real obligation to come back and be a witness, if you will, that this is an extraordinarily creative person who has had a genuine impact on the public policy of the United States and who I think as a senator would be extraordinarily effective. Callista and I have a series of things underway. She has a new children's book coming out on October 1st called Land of the Pilgrim's Pride, in which Ellis the Elephant introduces 4 to 8-year-olds to the American colonies. I have a novel with George Washington coming out in November called Victory at Yorktown. We'll both be at the convention in Tampa. We're going to do all we can to work to help elect Mitt Romney and frankly help make sure that we have a Republican Senate, because I don't think we're going to be able to have effective governance if we have Harry Reid continuing to be in the position he's in now. So I think this is, both the Senate races and the presidency are important to our grandchildren's future, and that's why as citizens we're going to stay very active.
Your time on the campaign trail this year, what did you learn about the Republican electorate that's changed since the time that both of you were in office?
Well, I don't know a lot, because Tommy was first elected in 1986 on a rebellion against big government, high taxes, and killing jobs, and we were elected in '94 on a rebellion against high taxes, big government, and killing jobs. Ted Cruz won in Texas, to take an example somebody cited, and the Tea Party victories in places like Indiana and Nebraska have represented a similar thing. So in many ways, I think Tommy and I feel very comfortable with the way people are responding to Obama and the degree to which people want smaller government, lower taxes, and more job creation. And that's part of why I'm here. I think that Tommy Thompson proved that he could create jobs. I think he will prove in the U.S. Senate he can help create jobs. And for the future of our country and the future of our grandchildren, we've got to have some people who can actually get the job done, not just spend lots of money and talk about it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming.